What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Take a Time Out, episode 31. No good NBA players at number 31 off the top of my head. Yeah, the in-season tournament went down. The Lakers raised another banner, baby. LeBron got another ring. Just a new day. So we're going to do our biggest winners and losers from the in-season tournament, 3 from each of us. Not a long pod today, but I'll start us off. Real quick. Well, I guess we'll get into it. My biggest winners for me, number one is Austin Reeves. He just might be one of them dudes, man, that, when it comes big game time, like crunch time, when you need the man, he's going to perform. Austin Reeves in basically all of his in-season tournament games was hooping. In the finals, he played a great game, man. In all of his games, he's been a facilitator through and throughout. He's just a great facilitator, knows ball, knows how to facilitate the floor, play pick and roll, all that. So, yeah, Austin Reeves is my number one. My number two is Rick Carlisle. He got fired. He got fired from the Mavs. Mark Cuban let him go. Look at where Mark Cuban's at now, selling the team. And Rick Carlisle's found the spot in Indiana where he can play his own style of basketball, run and gun. That's what he's always loved to do. He's an offensive-minded coach, and he's got a great offense right now. So, yeah, Rick Carlisle is one of my winners, Pacers coach. Number 3 is LeBron. What a better way to cement your legacy than to win, the newest thing that come to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of viewership, that new viewers and all that. It was really well-watched. It was a well-watched tournament. A lot of people are talking about it. If you go through any other podcasts right now, they're talking about the in-season tournament. So, yeah, LeBron's at the forefront of it. Biggest name in the league, and he performed, man. So that's my 3 winners. Everybody get their winners, and then we'll hop back to the losers.
I'll start. We'll start with one of the winners you already mentioned, LeBron James, MVP of the in-season tournament. Like you said, this is just an exact legacy statement. He's been in the league for 20+ years. Comes in and literally wins the MVP and wins the championship on the first in-season tournament. No matter what it thinks, it's gonna stick. I think Adam Silver was definitely cooking with the in-season tournament. A lot of people questioned it, and it honestly, like Dom said, pulled a lot of viewership, and even the players and coaches said they made the regular season games more competitive and fun to watch, which is what we need around this long 80-game stretch of the year. Mm-hmm. So we'll go with LeBron, obviously, for those reasons. Number 2, and this one's another no-doubter. This player literally, we all know he was good, but in the in-season tournament, I feel like he just took the next step, even putting him name in the MVP conversation. We're going to go with Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a boy that was cooking. Absolutely cooking. He was averaging 27, 28 points with 12, 13 assists a game, which is insane numbers from him. He just definitely took another leap, and honestly, overall, the Pacers in general, they just played really good and actually made it to the finals with LeBron there. But my third winner, and honestly, it's just because he was playing very well in these in-season tournament games, is just going to be Giannis. I believe he averaged 28, 10, and 4, something like that, which is really good numbers from him. Looks like him and Dame, when the games matter, they were cooking together. Whether Dame was off, Giannis was still stepping it up in those games. So those are my 3 biggest winners.
Yeah, real quick on the Giannis thing before Nate gives his winners. I think in all the tournament games, the Bucks really led into a lot less isolation ball being played by Giannis. That's been one of my biggest things in his career, is the defense loves when Giannis takes 3 dribbles back and just collects himself for a second and takes them mid-range jumpers and settles and all these different things. But when he's in that pick and roll with Dame and he's truly starting to figure out the pick and roll, I'm not just talking pick and roll around the basket. I'm talking from 30 feet out. Dame's doing the pick and roll with him. That's what works. And that's when he gets downhill at the rim and nobody wants to touch Giannis at the rim.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, just to add on to what he was saying.
So my biggest winners, I'll start. It's a gimme, but it's the Lakers. It's not only because they just won the in-season tournament, but it's the competition that they beat to be in that position. And then you could also kind of throw the Pacers in there just because they exceeded everybody's expectations. But the two players that I have, number one, even though he didn't win anything big, it's De'Aaron Fox. I did not see a player play harder in the tournament than him. Like, the Kings really understood that you needed to outscore your opponents. Like, the points mattered in the seeding and whatnot. But just they would keep their starters in for just about the entire game. And, like, if you're a fan, like, this was one of the best kind of games that you should have went to, or could have went to, I should say. And then my third person is Anthony Davis. And it's because he finally really showed up. And when AD shows up, like, this Lakers team is scary. Like, he's a all-time defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, when he's actually scoring and dominating the paint, like, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he shows up like that, he's all NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He's an all NBA third. He'd be on there right now
Was
if he
it
showed up like that.
75 all-time?
Yeah,
He's
on
a
the top 75.
top 75, yeah.
Yeah, and everybody talks about Dwight and all that, but that's for another day. My biggest losers. Number one, homer pick, the Boston Celtics. And not because they lost the tournament, lost to the Pacers, any of that. It's because you let the Lakers raise a banner, man. If you let the ops get you like that, man, like, no, this is a real rivalry that goes all the way back, man, and I feel it. Every time I text in that group chat with my buddies, man, and they talk about the Lakers, there's blood just boils in me, man. It's a real rivalry. Like, that's real stuff right there. Like, when people are talking about the Lakers, I get heated. I'm sure you all know this, but
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, they are some Lakers meat riders though.
bro, Lakers fans, man. I mean, Celtics fans are bad too for other reasons, but just so cocky, man. Lakers are so cocky.
For other reasons we won't.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about
disclose.
those. Zion, number two. Conference tournament. He made it to the conference finals. And he's on national TV. It showed he's out of shape.
Out of shape is crap.
Out of shape, man. And then the reports come out that he refused to do any type of diet routine, any of that with the trainers and all that. Just a bad look for Zion coming out of the tournament. So
You got Stephen A. Smith talking about
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
every chef in New Orleans wants
Yeah,
Zion
bro.
to come visit.
Yeah.
And it's just sad because Zion has the potential to be so great, like one of the greatest players in the league, and he just doesn't want it.
Yeah, we seen it, man. When there was point guard Zion, he was probably top 3 player that year
He's scary.
when he was healthy. So, my last is Adrian Griffin, the Bucks coach. Man, you're losing the locker room a little bit. I mean, it's way too early, but the locker room, man. I mean, this was Giannis's guy. Giannis brought him in and was like, "This is my guy. This is who I want you to hire." Brings in Terry Stotts, one of the best offensive minds in the league. Coached when Dame and CJ were there and led them to very great playoff runs. And right before the season, Terry Stotts gets fired because of a blow-up between him and Adrian Griffin. And now he's left in a position where he's still trying to figure out the defense and the offense and all that by himself because he fired his assistant head coach. Mm-hmm. So, not a great look for him.
Yeah, I'll start with my losers real quick. I guess number one I'm going to go with, honestly, is the 76ers. I remember one big game, actually. It was the day before I went and watched them in person. It was for my Cavs. The Cavs played the 76ers with no Donovan Mitchell, and the Sixers were healthy, playing an in-season tournament game. And I think the Cavs were like a plus 300 to even win this game at the start, or it could have even been worse, just because of what starters we had and how many people we had out. And we somehow won that game against the 76ers. The Embiid didn't play good against the Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Tyrese didn't really show up. And then even the game before that, they lost to the Pacers, which, given the Pacers definitely exceeded expectations, but the 76ers didn't meet expectations. So for them, I'm going to give them my first loss for the in-season tournament. Number two is, and this might be a little biased because they did make it to the conference there, the conference finals there. I'm going to go with the Pelicans, kind of like how you based off of Zion. Yeah, they made it, but if you watch the report with Brandon Ingram and Zion, what are you going to do when you win the money when they're in Vegas? They sit there, look at each other. They damn near look zooted, and they just start laughing. So I think that mindset is what lost them the in-season tournament. I think they could have went farther if they actually would have took it a little bit more serious. But when you see that from your team, I would have threw all my money on them not winning because that's not a team that seems serious about winning it.
True.
And then number 3, I don't really know. I guess I'm gonna just go give it to the Knicks, just because. I feel like the Knicks. Yeah, screw the Knicks. But plus, I don't know.
This was their only chance
I
of
feel like-
winning something.
Yeah, I feel like they could have
yeah.
made more of a run than they did. Plus, if they would have made a little run, it might have drove some attention to want to play there. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
And like you said, man, it's either Julius Randle shows up and Jalen Brunson don't.
Vice
or-
versa.
Yeah, it's vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have 3 because y'all named a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff right there.
Yeah.
But for me, I know there was like Jamal Murray injuries and whatnot, but it's the Nuggets. Just because like coming into the season, like this is the type of games that like the Nuggets thrived in last year.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
when they got into the playoffs, like there is not a better team than the Nuggets. And I understand regression is a thing, and like long term, over the course of the season, they will be A-okay. But I just feel like this was another opportunity for them to like let the league know, like, hey, we are still the best team in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They didn't get it done.
Got a couple burning questions, and that's the pod, man. Yeah, so this is for the clicks right here. Say it every time, but so after Bronny's debut, Bronny James debut for USC. If you didn't see it, what is the actual chances? 1 out of 10, LeBron will have the opportunity to play with Bronny. I'm gonna go with a 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
3% chance.
Yes.
Well, 3 out of 10.
3 out of
3 out of 10. Okay.
3 out of 10. I've said this way back. I can pull up text if you really need me to. Like, I've said Bronny's a role player, but a very good role player eventually, I think. He's a 3-and-D type of dude who plays great defense and is athletic as crap. So, so what's that look like? I mean, does that look like a second-round pick? I mean, it really depends all on his draft class and how late he stays in college. So it's a lot to boil down, but people are talking about it, so I had to give my 2 cents in on it. So I'm going to go with a 3.
Yeah, I mean, Bronny's a big name, I think. I mean, we're talking about the GOATs, or arguably the GOAT, my GOAT, his son.
You said my
Man, I was watching Bronny all through high school. I actually do pay attention to some high school sports. Not as much as I used to, but I have used to pay attention to a lot of high school sports. And I agree with Dom. I don't think Bronny's ceiling is going to be a superstar type of player in the league. But like Dom said, he's going to be a very good 3-and-D type player. Kind of reminds me of a J. Rue Holiday just because of his height. He's not as tall as LeBron, but he definitely has the athleticism. And I think he might shoot a little bit better. I mean, you can't really take much off his debut. I mean, he didn't play very much. He was on a minute restriction. But I think he ended with 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals.
Yep.
And he brought
chase
that
down
energy.
block.
Yeah, and that chase down block that was kind of dope. Kind of looked like LeBron.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think like Dom said, there's not really. It's honestly who's going to take the swing to get Bronny. If I had to grade him, if he does go after the draft after this year, he'd probably be a second round, and maybe a team take a shot at a first round, very late first round for Bronny. But this draft class coming up isn't super deep, so my rating on what Bronny I'm playing with LeBron is going to be that's literally what LeBron said he wants to do before he retires. So I'm going to say it's a 10. I think whether it's at the Lakers, they go out and trade something for draft capital to get him. I don't think they'll do that necessarily, but I think when the contract is up, LeBron will sign 1-year deal, no matter the price of that contract, and we'll play with Bronny before he retires.
Yeah.
Just kind of like if you guys, I know people don't watch baseball, but Ken Griffey Jr. when he played with his son in baseball, when they played a whole season together, but that was one of the coolest things. Imagine a son and a dad playing on the same team. It's just, I think that would be the Newsline story. There's no doubt it happens in my mind.
Yeah.
It'll happen in the NBA.
For me, man, just a kid from Mansfield, Ohio, man, I'm trying to have Zeke on this podcast one day, so keep listening, y'all.
For me, I think I'm right there with you, Dom. It's got to be a 3. And that 30% right there is strictly because of LeBron James's influence.
Yeah.
From a basketball, building your team and whatnot, it's hard for you to, first of all, pursue a player that, like you just said, like his ceiling probably isn't a superstar player. So like in terms of drafting somebody, like you said, he might be a late first at the very peak of it. But I just think I don't know. I just don't know how it all works out. But if there is somebody that's gonna influence the NBA overall to get that done, it is LeBron James.
One thing I will say is I don't know if does LeBron contract end this year? I'm pretty sure it ends this year. LeBron signed a 2-year contract with the Lakers, and it kind of, if you look at the timing of it, this is Bronny's, after this college year, he'll be eligible for the draft. Then LeBron's on a free agent deal. He can go anywhere. He'll probably want to stay with the Lakers, but honestly, I remember him saying if LeBron decides to retire after this year and not compete one more year, he'll go to wherever Bronny goes, no matter the price. Like, I don't care if the contract's like $10 million for a year. He'll go with there to play with his son. And I remember him saying that too. So I really think it's going to happen. But imagine if you see LeBron in like a Raptors jersey or something, just something random.
The Spurs.
Yeah, that'd be dope though. LeBron and Wemby and Bron. Let me manifest that.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. A couple more burning questions. So we seen the Pacers, man. We seen what they got. But what should they really do, man? The question is, should the Pacers make a trade?
Yes.
If so, who's the player in mind? I'll start. It's not going to be the flashiest name. Alex Caruso. Talk about, what their flaws are. His defense. Alex Caruso brings the ability to not only just play crunch time in the playoffs, and that's what I think this team really needs is more crunch time type of players. Like, they're going to have to shorten that rotation down, and there's a player that will play in the playoffs. So that's the type of move I'm looking for. I'm not looking to gut any of my young talent, none of that. But so I'm going to go with Alex Caruso.
This is one we talked about it last week if you caught the podcast, where I had like little Pacers franchise league where I kind of like build teams and just play with them, just see what I could do. The Pacers is the one I was working on last week. I haven't played it since, but yeah, this team is, I truly believe, one piece away from being a really good contending team. If you look at the Pacers team in general, they're an offensive juggernaut. I mean, they might not have great defense. They're on the lower tier defensive ratings, but their offense is number one. I mean, they'll outscore you. But with that being said, I was trying to think of like realistic trades that would fit within like the Pacers team and flow. And there's two names I kind of like, and I want to just shout them out. First one, this team's going to be shopping at the deadline. This guy is going to be on a free agent deal next year, which I think would be smart to go after this player so you can trade and sign him. We're going to go with OG Anunoby from the Raptors. The one thing Pacers need is a wing that can shoot and play defense. Anunoby is literally the picture-perfect player for that. He's a decent offensive scorer. He can shoot the rock, which is literally the Pacers system. But he also has that elite defense, which I think the Pacers necessarily need. So that's my favorite option for the Pacers. Number two, I would go with DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks. If the Hawks don't continue to live up to their expectations, I can see them maybe shopping some players around to get some draft capital or something in that sorts. So just getting like another wing like DeAndre Hunter, defensive shooting wing, would probably fit for them as well.
Yeah, I don't think Hunter finishes the year as a Hawk anyways. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Jalen Johnson is going to take them in.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson has been looking really good. Should they trade for somebody? 100%. Now, is this player that I'm about to name probably the best? No. But I think with all the reports and with how little it would take to get him, I would not be mad if they pursued someone like Zach LaVine. I know he doesn't have the defense, but like if there's a system that he's going to strive in the most, it's this system where like, yeah, he's going to have to pass the ball a little bit more, but like they're just trying to outscore.
I actually don't even think they need to pass the ball. I mean,
yeah, Zach wouldn't even have to pass the ball.
Yeah, you can delay. When he hits the ball, go score. I mean, that's your job if they got traded. I like that trade.
And they wouldn't have to give up like anything.
I mean, they would have to give up some, but they have the capital.
Yeah, but the stock on Zach is
kind of plummeting.
Yeah, it's plummeting now.
At an all-time low.
Yeah, that's the time you want to go do that stuff. So I like that trade. Little shout out I was just thinking of, and this is really curious. I don't know if the Knicks would ever do this, but trading R.J. Barrett to the Pacers. that would just be a little swing in the fence. But I could see it happen if this Knicks team doesn't continue working out. And I mean, I don't know. They just signed him to a contract, but that's just a swing. If they did want to make a move, I could see that happen too.
I just don't see. I don't know if I could see the Knicks getting rid of anybody, because they're just like, they want to compete so bad, but they're not there all the way to compete all there. And like, I don't know.
Before the year, they were saying trying to go get Cat, but I mean, Cat.
They're trying to make.
I think Timberwolves are literally set.
They're trying to make their fans happy.
They should, yeah. This ain't the same Cat.
Mm-mm.
The last thing I had is all the tournament talk. Would you change anything in terms of anything? The one thing I thought of and was brought to my attention via Twitter. So when it came down to how the Celtics made the in-season tournament, it came off of points, you scored, and the margin and all that point differential.
Yeah.
So, it led to us playing the Bulls, us going full throttle. That was awesome to see that game actually matter. But we hacked the German, and we did a lot of crazy things in that game. And instead of that, I would like to see you make it off of quarters that you won. So say, who are we with? The Magic. Say the Magic won 7 quarters over the terms of their group play, but the Celtics won 8. So that comes down to, are you winning quarters in the game? So that's a game inside of a game to me. So
yeah, that's literally perfect. My biggest flaw with the tournament, which I really enjoyed, and I don't think they should change very much, because I really enjoy like this impactful games early in the season. But yeah, that point differential thing was really weird. Like Dom said, I remember watching that Bulls. I didn't watch much of it, but I remember seeing it. The Bulls had like bench players in like midway through the quarter, and the Celtics are out there fouling their worst free throw shooter, playing full starters, going hard up by 30. And the coaches are fighting. He's like, "Bro, we're about to make the tournament. We have to beat you by like 30." So, and then he's like, "Oh, that makes sense." But yeah, so like that, it's not a great look for the NBA with that. But like I agree with Dom's statement. That quarter thing sounds that'd be like the perfect like thing they could switch that with. One thing I would like to change maybe a little bit about this in-season tournament, and you guys can definitely disagree if you don't agree with me, but it's like some of these courts. I think the courts are cool. I think they're nice. It makes us, there's a different atmosphere, but sometimes it's just a little bit too much. I felt like
red.
When you have like full bright red and blue court, I don't know.
Red's doing too much.
Yeah, I think it's like a little too much. I like the idea of cool courts, but maybe like have a little bit different designs. But I like the idea, but just not that what they did.
They're like 2K my courts.
Yeah, I guess those
that you'd make for the pro-am.
Literally though.
There are a few things that are wrong with it, but from my perspective, I'm not gonna say change a whole lot or change anything at all, because it made the regular season more competitive. It made you want to actually watch these games more. It was great for betting purposes. You already know we're on top of that. It created overall more buzz for the NBA and more interest for the NBA, and like that can only help your business.
Yeah.
Like me, for example, I could care less about the NBA until like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm honestly more invested into it now than I have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. The only other thing that I'd add is just like what I heard from like Bill Simmons and the people that did go, but like how cool it was in person. Like we're not this cool yet, but people got sent to Vegas, that are media and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And just like for the first game of that conference, the Pacers playing the Bucks, they played like no music, and you could just hear all the players trash talk and like the coaches talking and all that. So they heard the whole thing, and they were hearing all types of crazy stuff, and it was actually pretty cool. And then the second one was a whole different atmosphere where it was the Lakers, and they played a bunch of music. So just being in person for that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's a good segue to subscribe, share. Making that push towards 100 subs, man. So please share this to all your friends, man. We're trying to hit that 100 subs by the end of the year. Let's say it. By the end of the year, make the push. But it was really all. Peace.